It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo. Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Get in the building.
Yo, good morning.
I look to be same color.
Yeah. Hey, this morning I was just stepping out of my door. I was dressed. Stepping out, my dress just touched.
You
know, because my nail polish, everything.
I knew it has to be that.
Hey,
like how like find that
where do I get
where will I get purple? Where?
Are you serious? I look at your purple clothes up and down.
I left the house 6:45.
Like it was too much.
It's today that I decided that maybe you better stop this matching because it would have just been a matter of picking up another outfit.
Yes.
Now I was not looking for purple shoe, purple this,
purple bangle,
and earring.
So good to see you.
Sorry about that.
How you going, Nima?
I'm fine. I bring glove from NDLE State Command
Yeah,
yesterday.
she went to NDLE.
Yes, and everybody that I met, in fact, all the men are your view fans. They called each person's name one by one and asked me to greet every of the ladies on the table. So
yeah, we have been greeted.
We are well loved over
Thank
there.
you
and
so
they know
much,
the
Thank you,
NDLE.
One person said, I just finished the show. This morning, you are wearing this dress. You're
They're doing amazing, yes.
That's true because I went to the immigration yesterday and everybody there was
celebrating
greeting everybody. So
fantastic.
Very good.
Obiajulu, how you doing?
I'm all
Thanks
right.
for the dress.
You're welcome.
I'm wearing also BC. I love the dress. I love the dress.
Yes, you look amazing.
Thank you.
So now I got an email yesterday.
Okay.
That I am now a member of Forbes BLK.
Hey.
It's a platform that amplifies creators, leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals.
Yes.
So congratulations to me.
Yeah. And to me also, same thing. I wouldn't have mentioned it, but now that you mentioned it,
Post your own picture.
I never get them.
Post it, Jerry. Post it.
Have you posted yours?
Yes, I posted my own this morning. So we'll be getting emails from them to see what we're supposed to be doing and all of that. But it's good that there's a platform that's recognizing women who are doing amazing.
Fantastic. Well done. I'm pretty excited, you know. I just like the way I feel this morning.
Like a girl.
I feel like a girl. You're feeling 16.
I have a dress like this too.
I feel really young, you know. Also
that's the idea, ageless. We're ageless.
Let's go on a break. It's still Tuesday. When we come back, we look at the front pages of the papers.
Oh, you're always rushing.
Okay, so I'm not rushing again.
That's how she did yesterday.
We did not finish.
YK, was it
the beach? I hope you were.
Because I was on your page.
I watch a bikini.
Whereas my backyard, I could not even whistle.
How can I wear bikini with this big belly?
Okay, there's no
I wore a swimsuit,
belly?
a very sexy swimsuit designed by Made's wife.
Is she a designer?
Yes.
Nedos,
No, she does swimsuits.
Oh, really?
Swimsuits with the jacket, with the cap.
I need a pair.
She needs to hook us up. We need like a Your View branded one.
Yeah.
Yes, so
needs a hook up.
I will tell her.
Yeah,
So I went to the beach, had fun with all my grandson. He said, "This is the best day I've ever had in my life."
Wow. That's somebody coming from abroad.
I'm telling you, you don't have time to go out there.
My granddaughter said, "Are we coming back here? We have to come back."
Actually, that is query number one.
Oh my God.
And I'm to have banter. Guess what?
Tell us,
One more discovered Baileys. No, you know, Mama liked red wine. She loves red wine. She's 99 days old. There's no shame. She loves red wine. But somehow, I don't know how she got somebody to she started drinking Baileys. She now came to me yesterday, Morayo, please. That thing that looks like milk. Like, please, I won't buy.
I
have to go and buy. So there was one bottle in the house. I put in the fridge for her. She came yesterday, I gave her. She enjoyed it. I said, Mama, just take it with you. And she was so happy.
At what age?
Please.
YK is donating a bottle to her.
She loves
I have
Baileys.
leftover from Made's wedding.
Please,
we want.
She'll be so happy. I mean, she was so excited. I mean, I was just so happy. She's like, she has not discovered. What was red wine now? It's no more red wine. It's now Baileys.
That's
enjoying.
She will not be like this.
Observing.
Always looking at me.
Okay, we've now time up. It's now time up. It's now 9:05.
Okay,
let's go on a break when we come back. But look at the front page of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Tinubu to Siemens, speed up investments in power and rail. Retirement directive unsettles adamant police officers. Africa should dump Western democracy, says Obasanjo. Impeachment, Appeal Court rejects Ondo Assembly's fast-track request. Rumble in Federal Civil Service over PERM6 promotion exam. We are committed to transparency, says Lagos Procurement Agency. Subsidy removal takes monthly Federation account inflow to ₦1 trillion. And presidency tackles article over claim on court verdicts. All right, let me start with the major headline. So our president had a meeting yesterday with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, where both of them discussed the Germany's investment in Nigeria. And also the Siemens Chief Executive Officer, Sabine Dalomo, was also participating in that meeting. If you recall, Siemens was supposed to we had a relationship with Siemens for them to help us revamp our power sector, but for whatever reason, that wasn't done. So the objective was to break the bottlenecks that have been preventing the full implementation of the previous agreements between Germany and Nigeria during the Muhammadu Buhari's tenure. According to the president, I know there is a lot of work that has to be done. There's already a big production of electricity in Nigeria, but it is not getting to the population. So Olaf, that's from Germany, saying that it had to do a lot of bottlenecks that the experienced Siemens has developed the plan to be ready and to deepen implementation, but it is now up to the Tinubu's government to take the following action, the follow-up actions that would be required to making the commitments come to light. So on the railway plan, same thing, Siemens will be very happy to progress. So according to the Chancellor, a lot of bottlenecks have actually stalled their investment in the rails and in power. And hopefully with Tinubu's government trying to remove the bottlenecks, hopefully they...
You know, we must give it to President Tinubu. His direction is clear. Bring in the money, and he does not have sentiments to any region. He's gone to Saudi, he's gone to Dubai, he's gone to Germany, he's gone to India. All these countries come here and set up companies. You don't go down. He's going everywhere trying to get the investment so that we have production pick up again, and I hope that the bottlenecks are removed. I have the story of Rumble in the civil service, and you know civil service and their drama. So one of these civil society organizations called Center for Public Accountability has called out, they have called out the head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, directly saying that, you know, our allies were the ones involved in the organized examination promotion done for directors to get to the position of permanent secretaries within the civil service. They are insisting that they did not follow the constitution. They said 85 directors from the 5 states and the two geopolitical zones, named the North Central and the Northeast, sat for promotion exams November 6th, and that was what's supposed to bring qualify them for the permanent secretaries positions. Only for 20 out of the 85 to be said to have passed. So they are now calling on the president to effect Section 17, Sub 1, Sub 2 of the Constitution and appoint the permanent secretaries as along the line of appointments of ambassadors and secretaries to the government, the way it is done. That is what the Constitution provides. They're insisting that that exam was made with controversies and that our allies were involved in the exams.
Right.
So, democracy, Abekuta. In Abekuta, the former President Segun Obasanjo, has said that democracy has failed in Africa because it was forced on the continent. He gave this while delivering his keynote address yesterday. He said the reason is because it's representing, the representatives are just a few representing everybody. Yeah. So they're not carrying everybody along, and the population, he said the population is too much for the representative. Anyway, he just went on that we need Afro-democracy. He didn't tell us what Afro-democracy is or should be, but...
Afro is black.
But then, personally, I've been echoing that for years, and I think that we need a customized version. Maybe not Afro, but maybe it can even be Afro.
Afro, it can be Afro.
We have a conversation. Yes,
I agree. Yeah. But you ruled for 2 terms.
Yes,
you didn't know that time.
Yeah, he did not know.
He was
you wanted to go for 3rd term. You did not know that time. It is not that they are ignoring you.
Now. The only constant thing is change.
It's change. It has
evolved.
Always
change, right?
Yeah.
So you are wiser when you are no longer
this kind of keynote speech. You should please say
apologize. yes.
Yes.
For not thinking.
For not thinking
For not
of
thinking about it when me, I was ruling.
So I have a story. Minister of
Nation?
Finance, yes, in Nation. Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, said the Federation account was witnessing improved revenue inflow since the removal of fuel subsidy from average of 650 million monthly to over 1 trillion in the last 4 months. So he stated this yesterday in Asaba, the opening ceremony of a 4-day retreat organized for members of the Federation Account Allocation Committee, that's FAC. And he said that the government had for long realized that petroleum subsidy was not sustainable, and that's one of the reasons that it has been removed. And so he said at the time that they were paying for subsidy, they did not have enough fund available to, carry out viable expenditures and projects to benefit the populace. But now that it's been removed, hopefully the money realized will be used for this. And they said also that the administration was mindful of the needs of the welfare of Nigerians. And they said that as long as we keep the government keeps implementing policies that are people-oriented, things will change. So what I was expecting to hear is that somewhat or somehow the prices of things will come down now that we're able to save money from the subsidy, or the projects that they're going to be using the trillion naira that they get from subsidy for, so that we can earmark that this is what has been used from benefiting from the removal of subsidy. But hopefully, let's see how the policies go.
Moving on to the Punch. Reps probe 447 billion naira COVID-19 spending, summon 84 MDAs. Tinubu woos G20 investors, FAC meets over multiple taxation. BRT users lament shortage of buses and long queues. Osun CJ, court workers protest assembly list sins. Obaseki deputy joins governorship race, plans campaign. Any suspends World Bank's arbitration on OPL 245 dispute. And presidency fumes tackles Obasanjo over democracy comments. So let me add to YK's report. So the special advisor, which is what YK was saying, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, spoke to Punch saying that Obasanjo, who is speaking, that we are practicing the direct inputs from Obasanjo. The democracy we're practicing is exactly from him, because he was our first military head of state back in 1976 to 1999, and also the civilian president from 1999 to 2007. That Obasanjo ought to know that he brought this thing to Nigeria. He was the one who made us adopt it in 1979. Okay. He must have seen it as an expensive and unsuitable when he governed us for 8 years. He said that he may be sounding a bit wiser as he's getting older, we don't know, but the president's response, but he is saying that he obviously he's not speaking against it, but he's just saying that Obasanjo should have known better. And I think this Obasanjo's narrative is something we should discuss. It's worth having a conversation, because many of us have had issues with this liberal democracy that allows us to do anything. But we must really, really talk about how do we customize it and make it more functional for Africa. Okay, another story in Punch.
So I have...
Go on.
No, go
on.
Okay, so I have the Osun court workers. So, the drama about the CJ. The court workers now are protesting against the CJ, and they are chattering like birds, saying, although the spokesperson of the speaker first of all said, our allegations against the chief judge and why they asked her to step aside for pending investigations are huge. They would have been negligent in and breach of constitutional responsibility if they ignored the petitions. So I want to believe the petitions were from the workers of the court. They said, for the benefit of the public, some of the allegations against her include diversion of the robe allowance of a brother judge of the Osun State High Court, which is about 5 million, indiscriminate suspension, diversion of funds for the State Judiciary Library, indiscriminate suspension of judicial staff workers without going through Judicial Service Commission, and diversion of their salaries. And they also said she diverted revenue due to the government from filing electronic affidavits through the sole appointment of a consultant by the chief, herself. And also, there's a case of consultant that makes 1,000 naira on affidavit as against 250 naira that is supposed to be the cost, and they did not even remit that amount to the state. They also said she has disobeyed a court judgment that discharged and acquitted the judicial staff of the allegation of embezzling 30,000 naira, typing sheet funds, and diversion of proceeds that were recovered from the convicted armed robbers of Ikirun robbery. So the allegations are really huge. Right. And in the Jusun protest, they also carried placard and wrote that, she refused to give them the wardrobe allowances that was provided for constitutionally and already provided. So they had a lot of financial issues. I didn't even cover everything.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're still reviewing the papers.
So I wanted to take the BRT users lamenting the shortage of buses. They are appealing to the government to bring in more buses because of the cost of transportation. The commercial buses, the yellow buses, their cost is too high, so they all prefer to go and take the BRT buses, which there's a 25% reduction. So, and the queues are really, really long. So they're appealing to the government to please bring in more buses so that they don't even have to take the... He said if they bring in the buses, they will reduce, they will force the danfos to reduce their own prices too, because there will be competition.
He worked at the Mile 2 end. When the train started operations, danfos were begging passengers
people to come in, So I have the major headline. The House of Representatives has summoned 83 ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government as it begins an investigation into the alleged mismanagement of over 447.6 billion COVID-19 intervention fund from 2020 to 2022. So they said the budget of the MDA showed that at least 22 of them got not less than 447.6 billion as COVID-19 funds in 2020 alone. And this implies that the COVID-19 intervention fund from 2020 to 2022 was way higher than the 447.6 billion, which was received by less than half the number of MDAs. And they have been invited by the House of Reps for the probe, which is to start November 27th. At the end, and it will end December 4th. And so they broke down how they were inviting them. So the House invited the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Communications and Digital Economy, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, and other agencies as well, ministries and departments. And they're going to be appearing before the lawmakers to answer questions on alleged mismanagement of the COVID-19 funds. You know, the guest we had yesterday mentioned something like that. So they broke down the days they are supposed to present themselves. So to appear before the committee on Monday, November 7th, at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, FEMA, Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation, Digital Economy, Federal Ministry of Youth, a lot of them. They also have another appearance on November 28th, National Agency of Food. In fact, when I read all the agencies, I'm like, it'd be like everybody just chopped this money. So they will be appearing one after the other, different days, to answer to the legislatures.
Daily Sun, APC opposition parties on warpath over court judgments. Climate change, over 110 million Nigerian children at risk, says UNICEF. Ohaneze announces plans to amend constitution, calls for memoranda. Manpower, our greatest asset, Tinubu tells investors. Editors urge federal government to give economic revival measures human face. Defense headquarters reveals how troops foiled attack on Yobe governor's convoy. Subsidy removal, FG records over $1 trillion monthly revenue inflow, says minister. And U.S.-Israeli officials raise hope on deal to free hostages and achieve ceasefire. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The United Nations Children Fund said Nigeria is the second most vulnerable country worldwide in terms of children's exposure to climate change, with over 110 million children confronted with harsh realities of rising temperatures. So they said no fewer than 650,000 Nigerians have been displaced by flood within the 4 years across the country. And this was said by the UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Christian Monduet, and the Chief of Field Office in Kaduna State, Gerida Birikula. And they said they talked about this as part of the activities to mark the 2023 World Children's Day. You know that they had established the day in 1954. They usually celebrate every November 20. And one of the reasons they celebrate is to promote international togetherness and awareness amongst children worldwide, and also to help improve children's welfare. And this last celebration was themed for every child, every right. And, you know, they went ahead to talk about the impact of climate change on children, saying that about 3.1 million children could be displaced by riverine flood over the next 30 years. And we have a lot to do to ensure that this doesn't happen. And we are the worst compared to Chad, on the other hand. And Nigeria's child population of more than 110 million accounts for 10% of the 1 billion children worldwide who live in extremely high-risk countries.
Okay. So I have the Yobe governor's attack. So the defense headquarters talked about they revealed how troops of 29 Task Force Brigade fought the attack by terrorists on the convoy of the Yobe state governor along the Maiduguri-Damaturu road last Saturday. They said that they were able to foil the attack, and they lost a police officer who died immediately he arrived at the specialist hospital after rescue. They said 1 military truck driver, 4 police escorts, and 1 DSS operatives also wounded in the attack were in stable condition right now. And they said they recovered 2 vehicles affected in the accident. They also said that the 29 Task Force Brigade, led by the brigade commander, are conducting a fighting patrol in that area right now to locate the terrorists who carried out this attack.
Yeah, and the thing is, that headline, it says the GHQ reviews how the troops fought there, but they haven't told us how. They only told us what happened.
It's impaired me throughout the
how, because I read the story over and over again thinking...
You don't want to give their secrets.
But no, that was how they foiled the attack. How did you foil it? Did you kill the terrorists? Because now you're still looking for the terrorists.
Did you catch them?
Did you catch them? We don't know. They're just... But we know that somebody died and that the governor was not in the convoy.
All right. I was going to take Ohaneze Ndigbo announced that they are going to be amending their constitution in tandem with current realities. The National Publicity Secretary, Chidozie Ogbonna, made this in a statement at their NEC meeting. It will be reviewed to accommodate various current developments which were not envisaged in 2003 when the present constitution was amended. So this is our Ohaneze Ndigbo constitution. And I guess that's pretty much the summation of the news. Okay, let's move on now to Vanguard. On ease in financial markets as CBN's MPC meeting fails to hold. Tinubu to German investors, Nigeria has some ingredients to become modern economy. Economic recovery, editors confab urges FG to reduce deafening anxiety amongst Nigerians. APC's snatch, grab and run agenda inimical to democracy, says Atiku. Democracy has failed in Africa since Obasanjo. Subsidy removal, FG records over ₦1 trillion monthly revenue, says Wale Edun. It's time for political reform, says Labour Party. And Osun Assembly Speaker CJ's counsel Baker over the corruption allegation. Okay, which story?
Okay, so the major headline, of course, the CBN has deferred again the monetary policy meeting that was supposed to hold. And this is a bi-monthly meeting. That means it holds every 2 months. The initial one slated for September 25, 26 was moved. And that was because they said they were, waiting for the takeover of office or people to settle in office. But now, again, it didn't hold. This meeting is provided for by the CBN Act and is supposed to ensure that they facilitate the attainment of the objective of price stability and support the economic policy of the federal government. And the meeting is the highest policy-making organ of the Apex Bank. But it didn't hold, and so we have people, we have Muda Yusuf, I'm trying to remember his present office now, but we have experts saying that this would discourage investors. This uncertainty would discourage investors. Ayoride Akinloye, an economist, also said it will keep investors guessing, and that's not a good thing to happen. I don't know why this particular one didn't, or the CBN has not come out to tell us why, but the Monetary Policy Committee meeting is very, very important.
Okay.
In Akure, supporters of the governor, Rotimi Adetiwa, Adetiwa, sorry, have vowed to protest, to stage a massive protest. They've been putting it online and everywhere that there's going to be a major protest in Akure this week. But supporters of Rotimi Akeredolu too have said once they come out, they too, they are coming out. So, protest meets protest.
All right, so arising from the 4-day annual conference at the Nigerian Guild of Editors. They had it in Akwa Ibom. Many of you follow that story. So lots of media heads were there trying to see if they gave us a list of all the books. In the conference attended by publishers, media executives, senior editors of print, electronics, online media houses across the country, they all urged governments at all levels to practically initiate actions that could cushion the immediate effects of the sacrifices of the Nigerians towards the economic recovery. They understand the economic measures the government is putting in place. However, they noted that the path to total economic recovery must not be littered with corpses of those who can't survive the suffocating heat of the present situation. NGE urged the federal government to reduce the deafening anxiety amongst Nigerians by enacting short-term measures to help alleviate the current hardships Nigerians are facing. Issues of the volatile exchange rates, illiquidity, all the issues we are going over. They're just saying that, listen, we understand you need to do what you have to do, but people are suffocating. So we need short-term measures to help them cushion the effects of these measures. So you don't
end up killing the people you are trying to save. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's anxiety in the police over plans to enforce the rule on mandatory retirement by officers. It said those affected are officers above 60 years and those who have spent 35 years in the service. And they are expected to send their letters of retirement to the appropriate police command, according to a circular by the Inspector General, Kayode. And he said, however, the affected overage officers are trying to resist the move to enforce the order. So the Police Service Commission, PSC, frowned at the officers resisting retirement and saying that it's contrary to service rule. So they are, advocating that if you've finished your time, you've done either 35 years of service or you're over 60 years, you're not supposed to be in service. So just kindly write your retirement letter and come and drop it. But they are dodging and resisting. They don't want to do that. I think they should be finding out why they are resisting retirement.
Look, you know what? I'm 60. I'm 63 almost. And
you feel you still have energy.
I still have energy. Now, we don't have enough police. And then the ones that are still healthy and you are telling them to retire. I don't think, because I hear that the government has done the judges from 65 to 70. Now you retire at 70.
Even teachers.
So
police work is an active work. It's not like
you need energy.
You need energy. You can't just
no. But listen, they are the ones that will sit down now and give direction now. It's not everybody that is active.
They can play advisory roles. They can be in the office.
So I think they should really actually let's think about it. Review this. We don't have enough police. You have 300 or something.
You want to retire how many?
They don't have enough.
Now you're recruiting.
Are people applying to go into the police? I never see anybody around me who wants to join.
They didn't have enough.
They have to run. That's what our hot topic for today. But thank you, ladies. That's all we can take on Conflict Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Your View is the show that ladies are hosting. And when women have a show like this, people always assume that we tilt towards having conversations around that supports or promotes women. All right, so there was a video that went viral. 3 women believed to be sisters were filmed assaulting a man for allegedly cheating on one of them. Footage of the assault has been shared online, sparking outrage. The video shows 3 women pouncing on a man with their fists and sticks. As they slapped and punched him, the man begged for mercy. Despite his pleas, the women were seen to be unrelenting. Now, from the conversation, it appears the man was unfaithful to one of the sisters he's dating. Now, we don't know the full details, and as I said, we can only take lessons from these things. We don't know the backstory or what caused it, what led to it, and why it was happening. But what was more interesting was the comments about the video. Many people said, oh, if we're 3 men, pounce on a woman, Dul of Nigeria will carry placard, says human rights, domestic violence, we'll call it all sorts of names. But now that 3 women are beating a man, it has a whole different coloration. People are saying, if it was me, I would beat her back or something, or why would they were justified in beating because the man was cheating on one with the other and the other kind of, that messy story. What are your thoughts, especially because we need to understand what is assault? When is an assault permissible? When is it understandable? And when is it a complete and total crime in the eyes of Nigeria, not in front of the law? In the law is clear, black and white. We're talking in the eye of Nigerians, in the moral. We're using the moral lens. What do you think is permissible in this part of town? Call us on numbers on your screen: 08120764169, 09024164340. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. Who would like to start? Nima. Let me start with you. What are your thoughts on this? Because if we get the story right, the man was probably dating one sister and then was trying to get with another sister and trying to have some, maybe sleep with her or something like that. And the three sisters now ganged up to beat him up.
They set him up.
They set him up. They set up. Yes.
So,
what are your thoughts on it?
Legally, it's an assault.
Yes.
And we'll leave that for the courts, and it's not right. But what led to what? I think a philandra kind of man who decided that every girl is okay to catch. They call it wise, because when guys do these things to girls and they're able to sleep with a couple of them, there was this thing they used to call a guy's gist back then when I was a young girl that made us decide just to stay away, because they keep a record and then they will talk about it. So I had sisters, and it was a thing where one guy would toast one, come back and toast the other, and it was about their records. So we just decided to stay away. But we know sisters that this thing went around. And this is not the first time I was seeing it, where the sisters now say, I told you he was asking me out. Okay, let's set him up. And then they will lead the guy. One will say, okay, I've agreed. And then they will lead him to a place like the one in the video and give him proper beating. Yeah. To teach him a lesson. If you want toast girl, but don't set up sisters and make a gist of it, that kind of thing. But what they did to him certainly was an assault. If they were provoked, I'd leave it for the court to decide. But, this was not the
Let me come to you, BC. What are your own thoughts on this?
An assault is an assault. Assault is a physical attack. And under no circumstances would you raise your hand and hit another person. There is no what led to. Because when it happens the other way around, is the man that's beaten. We don't focus on what led to. There's no reason to hit another human being. If you find out that they have chiked me and chiked my sister and chiked the other person, you leave the relationship. You take a walk. You're not a tree. You move. Who planted you there? You tell him, we're done with this. Are you game? We are done. 3 of us are done, Abi. Carry your wahala and go. You take yourself away. But for you to sit and start hitting a man because he decided to do what probably he had known best, or probably that's what he has always been doing, what he's used to, and then after hitting him, I would still bet that one of them will still end up with that same person. Because you're hitting from a place of you're not so upset. You're upset that you are feeling used. You're not feeling angry enough to remove yourself from the situation. They are still involved in the situation. That's why it's hurting them so bad that they are hitting him. Take yourself out of that situation and allow him to go about his messy life the way he wants to go about it. But for you to hit somebody, that I believe that guy should arrest them. He should go to the police and probably take them to court. They assaulted him. The dating and toasting everybody is not a crime as far as I'm concerned. It's not in the law that once you toast a sister, you cannot toast. There are people who marry from the same family and marry 2 sisters. It happens in our culture. So it's not a crime in law that if you toast this person, you cannot toast this person. When I toast you, did you agree or did you not agree? Why are we putting the blame on?
So let's take it from this angle. Do you think social media has completely taking away some things we do? There's some streets culture that we do that kind of really cause you to be resilient in future, where you do something where they'll teach you. You know how back in the day, you do something wrong and somebody will slap your face because they are teaching you some sense. But now, somebody records that and, it's an assault. Or it's put out there and it has a totally different meaning. Wait, there were certain things that happens to you that you want to commit a crime or do something and they deal with you. That for life, you remember that, yes. And I went to go and teach Yasikiras Kakara. all the uncles gathered together and beat me up. And since that day, I never forgot it. Those experiences were part of what makes us who we are today. But if you try that today, they will target assault, they'll target discrimination, all sort of things. And we're not, are we going away from those lessons? I'm not trying to say that, but that's what this is. But we've seen boys gather to beat up somebody when we're growing up. We've all seen. I told Mike, I'm coming to you. I had a cousin whose husband had maltreated her. And trust me, she called for help. The man had locked up everything. Like she didn't allow access to phones, access to anything. She found a way to run to the neighbor's house to call my brothers. And I have 4 brothers. It was a cousin. There were 5 of them. Tall, over 6 feet, all of them. They drove 3 hours to her house, and they did what was necessary to set the guy straight.
It's also
Since that day, he never touched her again. So the point is that this is what we've done. But if we had recorded it back then and put it on social media, they were arrested social. So how do we resolve? Are we as a society totally moved away from those kind of what's the street language now? Those kind of resetting. So we have to do things by the crude system. We have to do things by the books. Let me come to you. What do you think?
Well, I don't really believe in this crude system that you're talking about. Okay. Because I want to put the shoe on my own foot. If I offend and you all come at me and beat me, honey, all of you are going to court.
I agree.
All of you.
Because our parents have.
Do you understand? So that's why I read a lot of the comments, and for me, what got me was a lot of the women were laughing as if, he deserved it. So some men were going at them, if it was men now, all of you, which is true, because I have found that with us women, when it is the man,
all of us will unite.
But when it's the woman, we now start finding an excuse. It's okay now. He said, why was he chasing you on 3?
Yes, now.
Why?
Why?
Excuse me. How do you know it's not his religion?
Exactly. To chase on 3.
To chase on 3. Okay, let me say something. We've seen skits, all these skits people, putting a phone on a woman for dating and accepting to date someone else. Not even talk of sisters like these ones. Where a woman is dating one, she has another backup one. They will now say they do...
Don't put your eggs in one basket now.
Now.
Several baskets.
No, thank you. The woman will think she's being wise. Now you expect an understanding from the man when they find out. They will now put her face online. Nobody is asking for her permission. Nobody knows, is thinking about her image. And it's a popular thing. It's not today. Before phones came, they used to say they are disgracing such a woman. They will now push her out. The men would, some will even beat and slap her at it. It's not today. So it's not about a gender thing. It's not about a gender thing.
That is right.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, if this was an assault, provocation would at least reduce it to the barest minimum.
It is an assault. 2
girls find out, this guy is playing both of us, he's being silly. If he had gone ahead to sleep with them, it would make it a gist issue. Let me tell you the reason I did not date before I got married. It's this reason. Just this reason. They will say, I'm going to play CDC, Lori. Guys will now tell themselves. And I heard about several guys' friends. This was the normal gist. I said, God, they will never gist my gist. That's the only reason. Let me just mind myself. They will never gist my gist. But they find it a thing of fun. And if you get those girls, what would he do with the record and the numbers? He would spoil their reputation in that neighborhood. We lived in a small local house.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm saying that they took justice. What would their justice have been?
What?
Walk away.
Yes, take like yourself. Yes, self-respect. Yes. You walk away.
It could have also. That's right.
He doesn't know what to say. You have put Nima in the box this morning. You walk away.
But he's right, but it's also, what they did is not also so bad.
I wanted to touch on this already because the reason why I wanted to touch...
Let me ask a question before I know you're planning to run away. If you are 3 sisters in the house and somebody is dating you...
Not dating, toasting.
Or toasting you. Why are you keeping it a secret? Why are the other sisters not aware that John has been toasting you?
That's the point.
Wait, so you keep it a secret. John takes advantage of the fact that your other sisters don't know he's coming and decides to go after them. Shouldn't you be blaming yourselves for not being
but this one's
for not being open?
Yeah. This one's opened up to themselves.
John toasted you. After John has done 3 of them.
John Bosco Waka Waka, you toast
open up.
You toast BC toast Nima. John Waka Waka Bosco, you toast BC toast Nima. In those days, if they beat you, I might be a monk. That's just
all right.
We will go to court now.
Exactly. We will go to court and I will show the court how you are
so my point,
criminal offense. So
it's the same
so
thing.
my point
There's
is,
a defense.
My point is, for the longest of times, women have always put themselves first when it has to do with a man. And they do not consider other people as their sisters, whether they are blood or not. Once this person is coming for me, let me keep it hush-hush, let me protect myself. Even when I know that this person is probably liking Nima, I don't care. Let me collect him for myself. And we do that against ourselves. Guys don't do that. When a guy knows that the friend is interested in this person, they hands off. That's what they do. They bro code. They hands off and like a guy, carry that one, they go. But women, we don't care. We don't consider our sisters. And so when it now happens, when the guys now take advantage of it and it happens like this, you start blaming the man. Instead of blaming yourself for not considering your sister first.
Right.
If you come into a group like this and you see all of us, and it's Nima that you will like Nima to the end though. If you come to me, I will push you away because you are, even if you don't date Nima again, the fact that in this group you singled her out and you liked her, you must like her till the end. That is my way of being a sister to Nima.
If we
I'll not go back. Even if you break up, you're not consigning me.
We have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation.
Yeah.
Well, look at it. Aside from these sisters, we'll see, just like you say, you're putting out the angle of friends. How do you manage relationships when you have similar feelings for multiple people? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I have a caller, Benjamin. Thanks for calling from Egbeda. Oh, I lost that call. So, yeah, go ahead, Raiki.
I need to read somebody's comment. It's not to do with this. He says, his name is Larry Olusorin. He says, Fiona, you need to give feedback to the ladies of Your View to be reading our comments here, not only on X. So please, ladies.
On YouTube?
On YouTube.
Yeah, we read
I'm always
we
on
do.
YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just...
Okay.
But I was going to
Can I
say...
quickly respond to that? One of the reasons I don't read sometimes is sometimes they are condescending, so I just leave it. But I'm always here and I see the comments and I read when the comments are saying. Yeah.
And sometimes they're just discussing amongst themselves.
Yeah,
I try to read their comments, but that was... what, I was going to say, if I go out with somebody, 20 years down the line, the guy sees you and likes you, is that a bad thing?
No.
You have gone out with the person how many years ago now? You have moved on from the relationship.
We have both moved on. You have gone your way, I've gone my way.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But you see, in a situation where, so we talked about siblings. Siblings go through this all the time where one guy comes, likes sister A, they go on a few dates, and then maybe from coming to his house or to her house, he sees how friendly the other sister is, how she's more hospitable, how she's more, you know, just very more talkative. Maybe the first one he liked her physique, he liked how gorgeous she is, how intelligent she is in class, or whatever it is. And then he comes home and sees a really more jovial, lively, you know, other sister. And he's thinking to himself, but he still likes this first one because she's very intelligent, she's really smart, and they're helping each other in school. And then after a few days, they hung out, he's done. Maybe her seriousness is just too much for him. And then he meets the second sister who brings out the life, makes him dance, makes him go out, and makes him a whole new person.
I don't know.
And then he'd rather date the second person. Now, should both of them now gang up and beat him up? Don't you think an adult has a choice, has a right to choose different? So if I like your first sister, I don't like I should
put it in proper perspective. Dating, I like you too. It's different. I just want to knock this one, for lack of better words.
Knocking just comes with the territory. So I've dated you a few times. After a few days, based on you,
Well, player guys have one go.
a few dates.
One go. If you like, let the same mother, not even, let her be your father.
Let's not talk about the player guys. Let's talk about a situation where a responsible young man.
Yeah, we won't get here.
Why would you? Don't say that.
No, you won't get here. A responsible man would tell the second sister, tell the second sister how he's feeling, or the first sister how he's feeling about the second sister, and they'll have a conversation.
He doesn't even have to tell them.
No, he can't.
But the sisters can't set him up in their room.
Yeah.
They will set him up at a public place. You'll be probably, cutting them properly. But a player will be their bedroom. They will be beating him near mattress and not.
Okay, so this one, the one in the video is a player.
Yes.
So let's just remove from the equation because we need to take this conversation to a more.
How do you know he's a player?
Because
when they beat him,
when they beat him,
because he was saying, boss, it's not like that. It's not like that.
He's talking to the one he thinks that he has jailed the most.
exactly.
Look at this woman.
Good
Good morning. I have this caller. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good morning.
And you don't say no in the bedroom.
Good, sir.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morayo, good morning.
Morning.
You're taking over 2 minutes from me. I've been online, so. Yeah, this topic, what is good for the good is good for the gander. If that person that did this thing, if they do it to that person, we should be happy. Let me tell you, I like the condition that lady with plenty long hair, close to you now. I'm looking at you right now. Close to Brown, Morayo, that lady that...
We are Julian at BCS. Yeah.
BCS. I like what BCS said. Because how can, if you speak out, and she actually said the right thing, that if it was to be a guy would not, and that is the truth. What I know, this is my sense, that's the truth. In fact, is it because men are scarce? Maybe men are scarce, so 3 to 1 or even 4 to 1 man. I don't know, but if that person knows that this is what, surrender and look elsewhere. In fact, if it is a spouse or somebody wants to, then provide the person's own, not to drag another person's own. And for that offense committed, if that person is liable to imprisonment, as the case may be, if they charge the case.
Thank you very much. Okay,
you don't know what to answer.
So let's take this into by friends. It happens to friends a lot. Friends, sisters, even guys. A girl can date 2 different guys. That happens several times where one is in UI, another one is in Unilag, and you just met them differently. You don't even know that they're siblings, But let's put that aside. But the point is, when a young lady is in a situation where she likes a guy who her friend has dated briefly, and they've only broken up a few months or maybe even less than a year, and she's feeling that guilt, or she knows she really likes everything. Why is it always difficult for us as adults to allow other adults to love who they choose to love?
I don't think we're holding other adults. I just think that we all need to learn to do things right.
Okay.
We all need to learn to be considerate to other people. So if peradventure, perhaps, they need to sue me for this. It's Morayo that put this in my mouth.
Yes, I have to find a different word, perhaps.
Perhaps. So for instance, this person had a relationship with Nima for a while, and they are no longer dating. And I now start developing feelings, realize, and I know that you guys are no longer dating. For me, my own personal opinion, the wise thing to do is to have a conversation with Nima and find out where Nima's mind is. Because I understand women, sometimes you break up from a relationship, but you're still in love with that person. Probably you were not able to continue for certain reasons, but your heart is still there. So my asking or having a conversation with Nima is to find out where her heart is. Have you truly moved on? There's nothing wrong in coming.
Nima might not be truthful to you.
No, hold on. There's nothing wrong, but I would have...
She doesn't want to hurt you.
But I would have asked the question. Whether she's truthful to me or not is on her. If I ask and she says, no, go ahead, I'm done, I'm okay, and all of that, and she goes back tomorrow to start complaining, she's on her own because I have moved on. And I've cleared my conscience that I had a conversation with my friend to say, I'm liking this person. Are you people still in talks? Are you still having feelings and all of that? So I would expect that she tells me the truth. But even if she doesn't, that's okay. I've said it. But going behind and sneaky about it because they once had a relationship is where Bose enters, where the wahala comes. When she now finds out
openly
and don't care about Nima. If she wasn't my friend,
is the man. Nima has had a relationship with Morayo, and then Morayo now likes me, and is toasting me in front of Nima, and I don't go and ask Nima. I just go straight.
He was toasting in front of Nima.
Okay, let me go.
That says something. He has moved on.
He has moved on.
So there's no need to have a conversation.
So I don't have to converse with Nima now.
But if you are Nima's
they'll
friend,
say girl codes now.
Let me
take this call.
Let me take this call.
We don't have. That's the problem.
A caller has been holding for a while.
Sorry.
I lost that call.
Sorry. I don't have girl code, Sha.
You don't have?
I don't have. So by principle, I'm not going to deny myself the opportunity to marry someone that has asked my sister's hand or my friend's hand. It's just by my principle that I would say I would not. It's not a girl. It's not because we are paddies. There's no friendship when we reach that stage.
You see the problem?
Yes.
But men are different.
No, it's principle. The principle is I had someone whose friend asked me out. I said no. And then he came later and said, I was the one that wanted to ask. I said, you see that drama? Be going. It's the principle. It's not because I liked. If I like somebody, I would date and marry the person. I don't have drama sentiment because I just live by my religion. If a sister is divorced, the husband can marry another sister. That's my faith. And if it can be that simple, don't complicate my life. Really, that's the way I think. But in this video that we are seeing, if a man walks into the room and finds a guy on his girl, and he can beat her, they say that's his provocation. Or he can beat the guy, that's provocation. If the guy now told two sisters, and they say, okay, let's even see whether it's true you're trying to sleep with both of us, and they find out, it's not provocation. Okay. Because I'm seeing that.
The lawyer here now.
No, the calls are coming. I'm telling you that there's provocation.
There's a call.
No, I think they don't call this morning. This is Nima. Good morning, Ms. McAnthony. Are you live? Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead,
good morning.
please.
Every one of you. Happy, I really enjoy your program. God will always bless you people for the topic that you people always bring to the morning. I've learned a lot. And I really want to comment on that, my sister that is John Cicelo posted me. That is going with plenty because your comment is always on my heart. Something happened some years ago. A particular sister dated 3 friends. And when we went to a particular marriage, so the sister came. So she didn't even know who to greet first. It was later that 3 of those guys understood, that sister had dated 3 of them. And there was something wrong with it. So what is wrong with one man dating 3 sisters and they can't want to beat? Why didn't those brothers or those friends beat the sister for betraying 3 of them? So I really love that sister. God will bless you because you are unbiased. That case should be charged to the court. I'm telling you the truth.
Yes, go ahead.
Why is something not wrong with a girl dating 3 different guys and finding out at their event or the wedding?
Where were they even meeting that they didn't know?
Yes, why is it not wrong?
Is it still there?
I think we lost it.
The issue, what is not wrong there is because besides, they didn't beat anybody. So why should the case of men be different?
Okay, maybe they liked it.
No, I'm telling you the truth now. That is the truth.
Everything
So
is wrong
everybody,
about it.
let me say this last one. There is those 3 sisters, nobody will tell me that they did not know that 3 of them were dating that guy.
They may not
know. There is
know.
nothing they will tell me.
No, they may not know.
There is no how the guy would have pretended and date 3 of them secretly. They might have known.
They may not know. Okay, else are quite
even
I think one of the thank you, Makan. I think one of the things I'd like to take from this conversation is, first of all, definition of dating and definition of assault. We need to be very clear what these things are, because some people might feel justified in the sense that, listen, you guys have messed me up. Let's gang up. Maybe it may not have to be dating issues. The 3 of us had something and busy messed up the deal. And we plan for her that we'll lock you up into a room and we'll beat you up to reset you. These things happen, and we all pretend as if it doesn't happen. This one, it just happened that is in dating. So we all come together and say we're going to beat her up for what she did. Sisters do the same thing. I'll beat up the youngest one to show her, teach her some lessons. Nobody's recording it and posting it that is an assault.
But is it right?
Happens. But is it right? So that's why we're defining it. So can we now therefore define assault and help people understand that in situations, no matter what you're going through, you have no right to hit somebody else.
If we put it in proper definition, it is wrong. Don't assault anybody.
So those who have been assaulted all these years, what happened?
No.
Did I come from somebody, the person die?
So I come from a tradition where men of my family would defend me.
Yes.
If they find out I'm being abused.
Yeah.
If I call my brothers from the village, they are very huge, and that my husband is using his hugeness over me, they will come and reduce that hugeness. So it is tradition.
Yeah.
we have African ways, but we are now very civil. We are in a
That's what I'm saying. Let us
civil
define it.
era where we will now go to court, and I can be in court doing domestic violence action for the next 10 years.
Which is what Obasanjo is saying.
Yes.
This is our democracy. It's very Oyinboish. If the Afrocentric one, you cut you steal something, they'll cut your fingers off. We don't have time for all this.
No, that's Islam.
Wait. I'm giving you an example of crude ways of solving problems. It doesn't have to be.
They can vanish.
It could be different things. You can even vanish. I'm saying
vanish
that
somebody.
The democracy we have is so foreign, which is, I'm just taking this to the same thinking, that we have our own ways of solving problems. Somebody had told us once, where I think it was the former lawmaker, is there a baby that came to this show, was talking about how things are solved, maybe when in the community setting. Once the Oba is involved, they call everybody to order and they address the issue. This one's at first you have to get the police to go and arrest them and take all that is too far. Get the leaders, the elders to come together and gather and solve the problem. That's how we know how to do things. Yeah. So suddenly we're now saying, oh, it is assault. We're giving it to Igbo names.
Into this civility.
Yes, we're giving it to Igbo names assault. It is discrimination. What exactly do we want to do? I agree, it's assault. I'm just saying that
whatever motivated you,
yes,
let it be enough for your defense. That's all I'm saying. Whatever motivated, like the girls, is it enough that Tosin wants to sleep with them? Some people will even naked him and push him out.
Who defines was enough? Who defines was?
It's the court that decides now. Whether it's out of proportion or
when you are talking about this democracy and whether you like it or not, we are court of law. Everybody wear wig and gown. Abi beko. And they have refused to remove their wig. And that's robe that make them look like Dracula. If you do, whether you like it, the democracy or not democracy, that law is still what is pertaining in this.
And because we've chosen democracy now.
So when you go and beat somebody, you will find yourself with those people wearing wig and gown. It's not in front of any Oba.
Okay.
The three sisters may not even have one purpose in attacking this man. One inside them may be angry that so you left me as fine as I am and decided to chase this one. The other one is upset that even me that fell in love, you collected my money and everything. They may not even align in their purpose, but because it had happened that way, they decided to just, transfer that aggression, and anything could have happened. That man could have died there. So in your anger and how you want to do things the crude way, what if a life is lost? How do you take it from there? Are you ready for the repercussions of losing a life? So that's why if we, like she said, if we want to choose civility, we have chosen it already. Till they now bring that Afrocentric democracy. For now, we are practicing democracy and we must do things. An assault is an assault. We must do things the right way. You must report to the right authority. You must have self-respect as a woman. You meet a man who is philandering around your family, not kick him out of the house and face your direction. Find another man. There are many fishes in the sea, if you ask me.
Let me take it somewhere, I think. Thanks for calling.
Yeah,
you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, you are looking for this morning. Whether you are a man or a woman, there are three things that one has to remember in this life. One, God-fearing, maturity, and integrity. And that's where these three things come to play. If everybody has opportunity to do evil, if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you decide on your own, I don't want to do it. And when you are doing that evil, you will know within yourself that you are doing evil. So that's my take.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Let's take a few comments on social media as we wrap up on this.
Ayinka Pesol says, a friend once told me jokingly that there's nothing wrong if I marry her husband if she dies. God forbid. But I see it as betrayal. She said nothing was wrong with it.
Nothing is wrong with it.
Otumba Karim says, an assault is an assault and it is against the law, period. It is wrong and an irresponsible act for any man to wanting to have two sisters. The Yoruba culture frowned at that. People need to control their emotions. What of if the guy assaulted and has slumped and died in the process? That's a whole other kind of issue.
Okay. Franklin Benjamin says, the allegation of female bias is true about the show, but we all love Una still. Nima, you fall my hand. How can you be clandestinely allowing the women, what the women did, the man, because the man was a philanthropist? Anyway, BC and Auntie Waike has vindicated you.
Uche Diogo says...
Corey Michael says, Morayo, are you saying violence is our way of solving problems? Question to you.
No, absolutely not. Violence is not our way of solving problems. But the truth, it's not. It's not always the way of solving problems. But sometimes, the same way they will tell you that many have advised that when you are swearing in governors and politicians, don't use the Bible or the Quran. Use the tradition, because that's what they respect. Because the truth is that the minds, I have that theory that our minds are not there yet. But the world is going so fast. But where we are in Africa, we are struggling to catch up. And when we keep doing things the way they do things, we will continue to hit a brick wall, which is what the former president, Obasanjo, said. Though I'm not a big fan of him. But it resonated with me because I've always had that thinking that where we are, we need to go at our own pace. And going at our own pace is solving problems our own way. Now, it doesn't mean it's violent, doesn't mean we have to be assaulting people, but it means that in a situation like that, a man like that should be called to order by the sisters and other folks. Sit down. What exactly do you do? Some elders could have sat him down.
Find him.
Where the 3 girls are there, and maybe the mothers or grandmas, and say, what is that your problem? What are you looking for here? Somebody should address that issue properly.
When you say our own pace, makes it seem derogatory. If you say our own way, it's different. Our own pace means we are snails.
No. That's your
own pace. We were either snails or tortoise. When the world is going like this, we are going.
No, that's not how we are going.
That's not how we are going. Our own way is different from their own way.
Yeah, that's true.
Our pace
means we are following them.
We are following them at snail's pace.
That's your interpretation, YK.
When you say our own pace, check the meaning of going at your own pace.
Let me respond. I will come back to that. Pace is at your own pace. You define your own timing. You define your own path. You define your own momentum. It is your own pace, not their pace, not what they've defined. Your own pace. You decide and you divide
your own way.
But either way or pace, it's semantics. For me, it's semantics. But I'm just saying our own pace. Go ahead, Nima.
So what I understand Obasanjo to be saying is something a lot of other philosophers have said.
Yeah.
The West should allow Africa determine how their democracy will be. Because this was when they carry enter countries like they did Libya and destroy what the system that suits the people is insisting they must practice what is practiced in the US, practice what is practiced by NATO countries. Is the democracy that they practice, is it the presidential system they use in America that they use in Britain? Why is there peace in those countries and you continue to defend democracy in names that you cannot define? They entered Iraq and they said they had weapons. Today they say they did not find them. But they destroyed an entire country. In fact, they wiped out a group of people and their ways and their livelihoods in their own sovereign nation. That's what I think he's saying. No? That's what me I would rather say.
Look, a lot of people have said it.
Let people do their way.
A lot of people have said it. My own problem with him is he took him 8 years.
So 8 years, care.
You know when you're in the
No,
he was there for 8 years now.
He starts 24 years now. He stayed 8 years. All this while since it's until daybreak now, daybreak.
Okay, when you're inside the pot, you will not know what's happening.
What do you mean?
Come outside.
It's a lie. He's playing.
Because you're among the ingredients.
All of them are playing.
So he was inside the pot. He did not see Afrocentric democracy.
Didn't he bring it in 79?
As I said, things
79. He
change.
brought it now.
Like change is constant.
Yeah,
people how you thought last year, 2 years ago, is not the same way you're thinking. You continue to evolve based on the circumstances. So let us give him that benefit of the doubt.
I can't give him.
You can't. I don't expect you to.
I can't give him.
I don't expect you to. But I think let's give the thinking a benefit of a doubt. It says that, yes, maybe this person wasn't thinking that way. In this room, my 979, feel like, I will take this democracy. Let us take it as it is. But now we have worked on this democracy. How can we customize it to fit our own? Let's develop our own system.
You have almost finished the continent. You have finished the country with this thing now. And now you are coming to tell us that okay, if you're going to say it, take responsibility. Say, I am part of the problem.
Yes.
And I believe that I need to mend my ways by saying, yes, this democracy doesn't work. And I regret my action. Don't come and tell me like you have got a eureka moment.
It's true. Rwanda's democracy has worked for them. It's not the unique kind of democracy we are all looking for. It's not what Nigeria is practicing, but it has worked for the people of Rwanda. Can we let people determine what we work for them? Let the people say, this is how we want our own. And other countries will mind their business.
Do we know how we want our own?
Who even send you? Who made you the Avengers of the world?
Nima, do we know how we want our own? Do we know?
We know.
We don't.
Leave us. Let us find out. One day we will agree.
That's the slow pace she's talking about. That's the slow pace he's talking about. One day. Which day is one day?
See, Morayo, I am from Edo. I speak Esako. I have found so many similarities in the way we pronounce God, money, in Delta, in Urobo, in Isoko, in different languages. I wonder that if they had left us to grow without colonization, we would have found a
Absolutely.
common word by now.
But you're not the only one
But
that
this
was
one,
colonized.
people enter country, pilfer our resources in the name of colonization. They are still pilfering it in the name of intervention and
not the
sending
only
us
ones that were
aids today.
colonized. Why are
All
we
the monies that they are
struggling
returning, why did they
after
put it in their
colonization?
country?
We have to.
I can answer you that. I can answer that question quickly. I can answer that question.
We have to.
No.
We have to.
Don't go there. Let me quickly answer. See, we were the only continent that they carried us away.
Yes.
India, they colonized them and left them there.
Country.
China, they colonized, they left them there. Here, they
loaded
came
us.
and carried us.
500 centuries.
Buried us under the sea.
500
The
years.
ones that they left behind, Uncle.
have to.
They imprisoned us.
Today,
You know
we
what
have,
that
Did they not? When did you get there? When did you get independence in Nigeria?
we have to wrap up.
1961.
We have to wrap
1960,
up.
sorry.
We started talking about 3 women and three sisters. So let's pack it another day. We'll save this topic because obviously the catch fire with YK. We'll save this topic because even I'm very interested in this topic. We'll save for another day. But we have to wrap up now because we have a guest for our health segment. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Sorry, darling.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Our Healthy Tuesday, so we have to touch on a health matter. And today, this month is month of November. We discuss lung cancer. It's a month to discuss lung cancer, stomach cancer, and prostate cancer. Awareness is actually a month of awareness for these 3 key cancers. Joining us on the show now is the clinical oncologist and the chief clinical coordinator of NSIA Luth, Dr. Habibu Mohammed Yakub. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good to have you. You can call us on 081-076-41679, 0902-416-3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect, please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets. All right, so I'm really interested in prostate cancer, especially because we hardly talk about it. And yes, I think Sunday was International Men's Day, and it might be a good opportunity to touch.
I love that topic.
To touch on prostate cancer, because a lot of men always believe that it won't come to them, especially the godly men, the Christian men. God forbid, it's not our portion. They believe that they are sanctified, holy, nothing. They can never have prostate cancer. Just to remind us again, what is prostate cancer and how can men have it?
Okay, the prostate gland is actually a gland around the neck of the bladder, and it's a walnut-shaped gland. It is responsible for nourishing the sperm, so it produces semen that nourish sperm. And the gland usually will continue to enlarge, especially with age. So the men that are above 40 years, so at that age, you can start to experience the symptoms of enlargement. So it start compressing on the neck of the bladder, so it interferes with the flow of urine. Right. And it can continue to grow bigger and cause obstruction, and it could also undergo cancer, malignant transformation.
Is it true that men who don't have it regularly are more prone to...
That's the question that's the question. Who don't do the other room? That's the kind of question you'll be asking.
That is what is the narrative.
That's the one you remember. In everything we'll be talking about YK.
Why did you ask about prostate cancer? You. Because that wasn't our subject.
She used Christian daddies as an example and said, because it was personal.
We were talking lung cancer. I don't know how she...
Please ask your question. Sorry, sir. Don't mind YK. Bye.
Let us do today's show, I beg.
Is it true that it's lack of that thing that causes...
Which thing?
No, once
room adventures.
No, once you are a man and you achieve that age, you grow older, then you are predisposed to prostate cancer, whether you are doing that thing or not.
Every day.
No, it doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with prostate cancer.
Percentage.
Doctor, I don't know. We've seen people who are active, who don't develop prostate even in their 70s to 80s. And those ones who are not so active, at some point we start hearing prostate cancer. Yeah. So how do you say...
Well, the truth is that according to research that has been conducted widely, that thing has nothing to do with prostate cancer. The only men that do not have prostate cancer at all are those that were castrated when they were young. That's as babies, you castrate them, eunuchs. Yes, in the past we have eunuchs that you castrate so that they can serve the palace, so they won't have to do that thing. You understand, in the palace. So those are the ones that don't.
Let's talk about the percentage of the risk of it. How would you calculate the percentage 1 in 10, or how many in 10 have the risk of having prostate cancer?
Like I said earlier, the risk increased with age. According to autopsy, that's the test you do on dead bodies, it has been found that 80% of men that gets to 80 years will have prostate cancer. So at 80 years, if you bring 80-year-old men, 10 of them, 8 of them will have it. But fortunately, only about 20% of those men will have signs and symptoms. Because most of the time, prostate cancer is a slow-growing disease. Most of the time.
Let's go to stomach cancer for a second, because I know my mother died of pancreatic cancer. And it's one of those cancers that you never know until it's stage 3, stage 4.
Exactly.
And it's so, how can somebody prevent it? Because as I say, it doesn't present itself. How do you even know to manage it?
Well, screening is what we can do to determine any type of cancer at early stage. Pancreatic cancer, fortunately, is not a very common cancer, but we do see patients that have it. They are not that rare. There's a test you call CA19-9. That's a blood test. You take the sample of the blood and you check for the tumor marker, we call it. We call it tumor marker because it goes up in the blood if someone has cancer. So if you are able to see the rise in CA19-9 or CEA, which is another one for the whole GIT, for the whole gastrointestinal tract, you can then begin to find out what's the cause of the rise in the CEA, then, or in the tumor marker. Then you can do other imaging like CT scan, to find out where this tumor is that is causing it. But most often than not, pancreatic cancer is missed. And people will present as if they have diabetes, blood sugar may go up, or they may be presenting as if they have ulcer, indigestion and all that, it usually comes vague. But if we're able to do these tumor markers, we may be able to detect it early. But it's not recommended that we do that tumor marker for that pancreas, because pancreatic cancer is not very common.
I know about 3 people that have died of it, and pancreatic cancer. And what I notice is, from diagnosis to their final departure,
short time.
Very short time.
Yeah, mine was 10 weeks.
Yes, the reason is that it is detected least. Like I said, most of them would be treated for ulcer. Initially, they'll continue to treat ulcer. In this part of the world, the treatment and investigation is out of pocket for most of the people. So you look at that and you try to, if we are managing resources, you wouldn't quickly send for, all those type of things, except you go to a tertiary institution where those type. But most of patients will not go straight to tertiary institution. They go to all these private, smaller
other forms of stomach cancers. Are there any other?
Colon cancer. Colon cancer is even the most common of the gastrointestinal cancer. And I think colon cancer occurs for the 4th highest cause of cancer in this part of the world. Colon cancer used to be rare in our own population. It used to be like 8 about 2-3 decades ago. That's the 8th cause of cancer, but it's now about 4th. And that's largely due to the fact that our diet has changed. We have changed from our local diet to diet rich in, a high residue diet rich in preservatives and, all those diets, foreign diets. So we are also catching up with foreign diseases. So, yes.
So tell us, but that colon, how does it really happen? Is it that the colon, that's the large intestine, it becomes cancerous or gets cancer in it?
Usually the large intestine is free, but when you take chemical components Actually, a few percentage is due to familial or genetic factors. They are run in the family, but usually less than 20%. But the others are due to irritation. Maybe you take all this, I don't want to mention any brand, but noodles as the main source of food, or baked canned food, preserved food, high residue diet. So that causes irritation in the colon, the wall of the colon.
Wow.
And that irritation, prolonged, can cause transformation into cancer.
Can you just give us some ideas of food that we should be
eating? Just as in, okay, that we should be eating.
Our food, our natural food, yam, you know, the normal food we eat, our own eba.
Yeah, normal.
Those are, F4 is good. This food, they have fiber, and they encourage emptying of the bowel. But all these noodles and the spaghetti, canned foods and all that, they are high residue diets. So when you take them, yeah, you feel good, but your going to bathroom to empty is delayed. They don't have bulk. And when it's delayed, bacteria, when it breaks down the product, that's the food, and the byproduct of the bacteria remains there to continue to irritate the gut. That would have been pushed out if you've gone to enough fiber to empty. So that's basically.
Yeah, I was introduced to colonoscopy a few years back.
Yes.
And one of the explanation was that it helps to clean out the colon. When you eat food, water cannot really push out. Colonoscopy will help to flush it out, and that also helps to preserve the colon. I don't know if there's any medical back into it.
As we reach 40, 45, we are advised to do colonoscopy maybe once in 2 years, or depending on what they see. Colonoscopy, like the name suggests, scope, is a type of scope. Scope means to look at something, you understand? Then colonoscopy, scoping of the colon.
Okay.
So colonoscopy just help you to look at the walls of this colon to see if there is anything to worry about. So the process itself does not help you to go to the toilet. The process itself help you to see the nature of your colon.
They flush out.
That's not the one they are telling.
They flush out
the one
with water.
Yeah, the flush.
No, that's
your
not
anus.
Colonoscopy.
That's not colonoscopy.
It's flushing.
Okay, that's preparation. That's preparation
I will get the name. I understand
for. Are you talking of preparation they do before the colonoscopy?
No. They flush. They put water through the anus and flush out your colon. So everything in your colon clears out into like a pipe.
Yeah, it has a medical name.
Yeah,
I will pick it up. But that is done for patients when they have constipation.
Yeah, okay.
It's only for constipation. Normally, you are supposed to...
They advise it now for regular people, so you go in once a week.
No.
Once in like...
You wash out, kind of wash out,
yes.
but no, it's not for everybody. It's if you have, if there's a problem with GI motility, then, and the person has persistent, constipation, maybe, but not for everybody. We all have our normal mechanism.
So let's not forget lung cancer. Yes. I've learned some things, but we are focusing on 3 cancers.
Yeah.
And we know that's a lot. So what would you say causes lung cancer? Okay,
lung cancer until very recently was the most common cancer in the world until around 2020 when it was overtaken by breast cancer. Lung cancer largely is caused by smoking. Cigarette smoking, smoking of, hard drugs, exposure to all this,
like cooking with firewood.
Even firewood may cause it. We have primary people who smoke, and we have secondary smoke. Most of us, if you stay with somebody, work with somebody, or live with someone who is smoking, or you are in a car with somebody, you are a secondary smoker. We also have a type of lung cancer that is not due to smoking. Squamous cell carcinoma is usually as a result of cigarette smoking, but we have adenocarcinoma that's more common in women, and that one is not due to cigarette smoking.
What causes that?
Well, it's also irritation, but it's not very clear what causes it. But we know it's not cigarette that causes it. It's more common in women. It's also common in our population. That's adenocarcinoma. It's a transformation of the lungs cells. That's abnormal mutation. That's problem with the DNA. The DNA, something causes it to have issues.
So my question How does it present?
Because
is it by coughing?
Unfortunately, most of the time, it presents with chronic cough, and more often than not, it is misdiagnosed and treated as TB in our hospitals because TB is also very common. So most of the time, lung cancer patients, they come like as TB, but they do all the form of tests for TB and they don't see, TB, in the test. So at times, that's when if the doctor has high index of suspicion, then he now thinks of colon cancer.
So can lung cancer, does it necessarily fatal? Or once you have it, you can actually take out one lung and you can still use it?
It depends on when there's what we call lobectomy. You can take out some segment, but lung cancer depends on the behavior will depends on the type, because you have different types of lung. There are some that are very aggressive and there are some that are relatively indolent, not very aggressive. Okay. But if you catch it early, it can be cured if you catch it early. Unfortunately, in our environment, most times we catch it late because we think first of pneumonia and TB before we eventually talk of cancer.
I wanted to just ask, a lot of these cancers, what are their symptoms? Because I know that many doctors in this our society, when you go to the hospital, the first thing they see is malaria. When the thing
progresses,
they say it's typhoid and malaria. So everybody in Nigeria now has typhoid and malaria.
By default.
By default.
At what point do we come to you? Yes. Do we know?
Well, most of the time, cancer does not cause fever. Doesn't cause the temperature. Most of the time, it doesn't cause the temperature to rise. And cancer, the symptom will depend on which part of the body. Any part of the body can have cancer, from the head to toe. Once the blood is flowing through that cell, the cell can become cancer. It's only our hair and our nails, maybe the white part of the teeth, that cannot become cancerous, because those parts, they are dead. Yes, those are dead parts. But once blood is flowing, so the sign or symptom will depend on which part of the body that is affected. Yes.
How affordable is cancer treatment in Nigeria today? Because many Nigerians are listening to you now thinking, okay, they just got a diagnosis, they don't even know where to go to. I know Luth seems to have a lot of people to treat at the same time. So how is the cost? And secondly, what's the capacity for us right now to be able to accommodate lots of these illnesses?
Well, in this country, I will say that the capacity for now is much more less than required. We have very few cancer centers in this country, and of the few cancer centers that we have, less than half of them are functional at any particular time. Thank God, in Luth, we had a partnership with NSIE, which was concealed in 2017-18, and we had a center that was inaugurated by the former president, Muhammad Buhari, in 2019, February. And we now have an ultramodern cancer center, which is the most equipped in West Africa, both with equipment and with personnel. And we have the state-of-the-art facility. We have even foreigners, as part of our staff, expatriate staff. So, and we have a partnership with other institutions outside the country, both in US and in Europe. So we have a multidisciplinary team with other departments in Luth. So we offer a standard care for all patients. We can do virtually anything.
We know, but there's always never enough bedroom at this place. There's no clinical. I know my mother was there, and I know the facility you have.
You are quite correct. That's why I say we have very few facilities, and of the few facilities we have, less than half is functional. If we have more facilities, we won't have the issue of space. Yes, we have space, but again, luckily, we are built. If you come to Luth, you see that the other side of Luth, that's on the road, the other part of the road facing Luth, our compound there, we are building a lot of structures there so that we can decongest the main Luth now. So then we start having space. Once we decongest, we have about 5 buildings, all of them multi-stair building, 5 of them at the other side. That will decongest Luth and we will have space. But more importantly, we need to have more cancer centers.
So which of these cancers can be managed?
All the cancers, if caught early, can be managed. Affordability, because you asked about affordability just now, the treatment we offer at the NSI Luth Cancer Center if you compare it to anywhere in the world where they offer that category, that standard of care, you see that ours is much, much, much cheaper. Maybe even in Ghana here, Swedish Ghana, ours is like 8 times cheaper than, less than what it is there. However, because our patient pay out of pocket, it still seems to be very enormous. Because cancer treatment is different from malaria. It's not malaria. It's a treatment that requires heavy facility, highly trained personnel, and the treatment will go on for several months or years. So it's capital intensive. But in other parts of the world, even in places like Kenya, in places like South Africa, places like a few other African countries, they don't pay for cancer treatment. It's the insurance that pay for cancer treatment. So that's exactly what we need to drive. If we are able to drive cancer treatment into insurance, then we won't be talking about payment, about the cost of treatment.
Do you have constant lights at Luth now?
Thank God, Luth, before even the center started in 2017, we started generating our electricity. We have independent power plants in Luth using gas. Okay. And so light in Luth is 24 hours. If you enter Luth, you don't talk of light because that one you know that's taken care of.
Let's go back
that's
to
good to hear.
What would you advise us to do as Nigerians in our way of life and daily practices that we know will prevent?
Yes, in addition to that,
things?
is it bad to eat roasted corn and roasted barley?
Because of lung cancer.
Because of the combust. They say that because of all the carbon monoxide that is blowing from the downfalls into the body will make it poisonous.
Well, the truth is that regards barley, most of the time we do research to confirm. Personally, I don't think that it will be enough to cause cancer, especially barley and roasted corn.
Fantastic.
No, I am my person. Barley,
they are also seasonal, so it's not.
This doctor is
Then what we should do, everybody should do screening. Okay. Everybody must do screening. The reason is that if you are able to detect cancer early enough, then you take the appropriate treatment. Cure is almost guaranteed. It is cheaper to do screening than to do treatment. So there are some cancers that you can even catch when they are just about to start, when we call the pre-malignant, lesions. Those ones, you just remove them, with very cheap, no side effect to treatment, and you are sure of what you are doing. So the key to good outcome is
early detection.
Early detection. And the key to early detection is screening. So awareness, like you are doing.
Looking for what is not there.
No,
they say don't go and look for what is not there.
What you don't know will not hurt you.
They will give you something.
Looking for what is not there.
When you go and look for it now, they will now see something.
Not calling name as assault.
Yes, but there is a difference between looking for what is not there and looking for what can be there.
Yeah. Okay, well, no problem. You have said doctor has advised us, so please go and get your screening.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you, Dr. Habib.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you.